I, female 36, have a son, a young teen, from my previous relationship. I've been married to Michael, male 42, for 2 years. He also has a son, teen, from his previous relationship. We're not wealthy, and right now, I'm the one earning money to provide for the family. So I have a strategy consisting of saving money to prepare for any occasion, like a birthday or a trip. For my son's birthday, which will be in a month, I've saved money to be able to throw him the celebration he always wanted, pay for decoration, cake, gifts, food, etc. My stepson's birthday was last week. My husband doesn't share finances with me, and when he used to have a job, he'd pay for all of his son's needs. Now I've picked up the slack, but there's only so much I can do with my salary. My husband talked about wanting to throw his son the perfect birthday celebration, but didn't know where to come up with the money to pay for it. He asked to use my son's birthday savings and promised to pay me back in time, but I refused because he was unable to make money. He hinted about how I treat my stepson as less than, etc., etc. The party took place at a restaurant, an expensive one at that, and when I asked my husband about the money, he said he borrowed it from a friend. I later discovered that he'd used my son's birthday savings, all of them. This dumbfounded me. My reaction was to blow up on him and have a big argument. In his defense, he said he was desperate and that I can't blame him for wanting to make his son happy. I called him selfish, told him these savings were supposed to go towards my son's birthday, and demanded that he pay everything back. He didn't say anything. He went out and returned and kept on about how he was just trying to make his son happy and how I should understand that as a parent, as a father, it's his job. He then said if I really care about his son the way I say I do, then I'll stop asking for the money. Am I the idiot for insisting on getting the money back and refusing to back down? Not the idiot. You don't share finances. So not only did he steal, but he also lied. He says you're playing favorites, but he stole from your child to please his child. I'd reconsider the relationship, especially since he has no way of paying it back. Yep, he stole is the important word here. OP needs to report this to the police as theft, or at least say she's going to, unless he pays it all back by the end of the month. Then if he doesn't pay, report it. Honestly, I would divorce him over this and take it to the police if he doesn't pay back before my kid's special day. He didn't even take half. He took all of it. He could have taken half and maybe gone to a less fancy restaurant. You provide for his son, OP. What does he do for yours? And a job as a father is not to steal from a child to give to his. Info. Where's your stepson's mother? Or your in-laws? How come he couldn't ask them for money? This is financial abuse. You are the idiot if you stay with this man and allow him to keep using you and your family. Why are you with someone who would abuse you and your children financially? He will do this again if he hasn't already. Lock down all your finances so he cannot touch them. Get a lawyer. Demand a judge to tell him to pay you back. Turn the tables on him and tell him that he must not care about your son to steal his birthday party. What a loser. Gather your ex-husband's belongings and tell him he has 2 choices. He can sell them and give you the money back, or pack them because there's no way you and your child will live with a financially abusive tool. Seriously, either he pays up and tells his son what he did, or he needs to move out. Lock down any savings you made for your son's education and change your passwords. Please also talk with your stepson and tell him what his dad supposedly did for him. He needs to know that the ensuing crazy show is not his fault. Poor child. I'm a 56-year-old mother to 33-year-old Kelly and grandmother to teen Opal. Kelly became pregnant with Opal in her late teens. My husband Eddie and I have always believed in having the right to choose. However, Kelly insisted that she wanted to keep the baby and not give it up for adoption. We helped a lot as Kelly was only 17 when Opal was born. However, Kelly would rarely help with parenting, even when she was available. Even asking her to watch Opal for an hour while we ran errands was an issue. In addition, it was rare that Kelly wouldn't complain about why she had to be there to look after Opal. Kelly chose not to attend college after graduation. She had a job with a flexible schedule, yet she rarely made herself available for Opal. Kelly was only home to sleep or get dressed for some party. She also relied on us to purchase supplies and book appointments for Opal. Eddie and I would talk seriously with Kelly that she needed to step up as a parent. Unfortunately, Kelly would only make empty promises and never follow through on them. Kelly moved out when Opal was 6. Kelly comes around maybe once a fortnight and for holidays, but Eddie and I have been the ones to raise Opal. Opal is doing extremely well. She has good friends, plays tennis, participates in volunteer projects, and plans to be a marine biologist after graduation. The school year ended for Opal last week, so we had a nice dinner to celebrate her good grades. Kelly came, along with several other family members. We were all chatting and enjoying dinner together when Kelly stood up to make an announcement. She announced to us that she was pregnant with her boyfriend's child. We were already upset because this was supposed to be Opal's special moment, and Kelly announcing her pregnancy was utterly inappropriate. Eddie and I said nothing, and Kelly started to say how she and her boyfriend were so busy with life right now, then began to talk about how grateful she was that we would always look after our grandchildren, and how since we had gained so much joy from raising Opal, we would be even happier raising this second baby. After Eddie and I called her out, Kelly confirmed that she had expected us to adopt and raise this second baby. Kelly said she and her boyfriend didn't have time to raise a baby, but that putting up the baby for adoption would be throwing it away. She assumed we would have no troubles or opposition to raising a newborn baby at almost 60 years old. Eddie and I interrupted Kelly and told her we would have nothing to do with raising this new baby and would not be providing anything for it, supplies, childcare, etc. Kelly flipped out and an argument ensued. Kelly called us heartless and claimed we were willing to throw our grandchild away. Eddie and I called her selfish for expecting us to raise another child. We're too old to raise a baby. Kelly's 33 and needs to grow up. Give the baby up for adoption or be a parent and raise it yourself. Kelly left in tears. Now the family is broken into sides. The ones agreeing with Kelly say that we adopted Opal and are sending a message that we don't care about our newest grandchild. Others say we should have taken her aside privately instead of shooting her down in front of everyone, and our reaction was cruel. Eddie and I feel that we had to be blunt with Kelly and not sugarcoat reality. Am I the idiot? 100% not the idiot. How are they 33 and didn't even take care of their first child and expect you to do the same? It's time for her to grow up and accept the responsibility she's making for herself. And she ruined Opal's party. Poor girl. Exactly. Reading this, I was legit shocked. OP's daughter is way too comfortable being a deadbeat parent. This lady dared to hijack a party to celebrate her first child, who she did not raise, to announce that she's pregnant again and expects to toss the new kid at her parents? Who does that? How can you feel entitled to decide when and how someone else becomes a parent? And to announce that she plans to abandon a second child so publicly? Does this woman have no shame? Any family members who are angry at you, message them back and tell them, I'm sorry you feel that way, but your concern for Kelly, her boyfriend, and soon-to-be newborn is heartwarming. I'll be sure to pass on to Kelly that as a doting aunt, uncle, or cousin, you're willing to step up and provide physical care and monetary assistance to raise your niece or nephew or second cousin. There are always a bunch of family members who are to give you crap for not doing something that they're not willing to do. For background, I'm recovering from an eating disorder. Part of my recovery means that if I'm hungry, I need to eat. I need to get used to responding to hunger by eating. If I don't eat when I'm hungry, it can become a habit, and I could relapse. I know that's hard for many people to understand, but it's the best way I can explain it. I always carry snacks to accommodate this. My boyfriend asked me to attend a family event with him at his aunt's house. Dinner was at 6:30, but the gathering started at 4, and we were on time. Around 5:30, I started to feel hungry, and so I ate a small granola bar from my purse to reinforce the eat when you're hungry rule. Dinner was at 6:30 and was excellent. When we left, my boyfriend was upset. He said I offended his family by eating a snack before dinner was served and implied they were bad hosts. He said I should have waited. I reminded him that I have to eat when I'm hungry. He said dinner was in an hour and should have been sufficient to enforce the rule. But it doesn't work that way. I have to eat as soon as I realize I'm hungry, or it's a slippery slope that could lead to me going days without food. My boyfriend was angry and accused me of just wanting attention and being inconsiderate. Should I have waited? Was I being too rigid? Am I the idiot for eating my granola bar right before dinner? Not the idiot. You're exactly correct, and your boyfriend is more concerned with appearances than your well-being. I knew a girl who had a similar issue she was working through. Her boyfriend would carry a little cooler anytime they went out with yogurt, carrot sticks, and other snacks for her in case she didn't have any snacks of her own. Also, if boyfriend is concerned about appearances, he should be embarrassed that his parents didn't have a grazing platter of some kind out when they had a guest over. Come on, at least put out a bowl of chips. Would the boyfriend be so upset about appearances if, say, she needs to eat because she has diabetes? You know what? He probably would be. Anyways, the point is, it is medically necessary for her to eat when needed, whatever the reason is, physical or mental. The boyfriend is showing very callous disregard for her needs and well-being. If his family were so offended by a granola bar, then it was up to him to explain that it's for health reasons. Instead, he stayed quiet and scolded you for doing exactly what your doctor or nurse advised you to do. Plus, it's a granola bar, not a 3-course meal. Your boyfriend is supposed to support you, and it doesn't sound like he is. When I, 28 female, was 18, I had to give birth to my daughter, Farah. No choice for me. I wanted to give her up for adoption, but Dave, her dad, was able to take her. In exchange for giving him full custody, we settled on me not paying any child support. I did not give up my parental rights. I thought I did what was best for me at the time. It let me focus on getting my degree, have fun, and start my own business, which has become wildly successful. When not studying or working or clubbing, however, I was very depressed and torpedoing every relationship I was in because I regretted my decision. Last year, my dad died, and I inherited almost everything. This has pushed my wealth into 8 figures when you add property and stuff. It just made me more depressed because I never got to fix things with my dad. And it's like I have all of this, but for what? So I finally decided to be brave and reach out to Dave, because maybe if I could have Farah in my life, I could be happy. Dave set up a meeting last year, and as soon as Farah saw me, she rushed to me and hugged me and called me mommy. It was amazing, and I honestly started crying. It has been so great since getting to know her, picking her up from school, hearing about her day, helping with homework, getting to hug and kiss her. Even getting yelled at by her when she's upset is something I wouldn't give up. And I hate that I wasn't part of this before. It's like I have a real purpose and this money finally means something. I don't try and flex my wealth on Dave or his wife, Lydia, but they've made remarks about how cool Farah thinks my car is, or how I have a cleaning lady. But I never bought anything for her without clearing it with them first. In exchange for visitation, I've paid back child support and paying it now to have her in my life. We currently have a meeting to restructure the custody agreement so I can get her on the weekends. Yesterday was Farah's birthday, and the party's on Saturday. But as a surprise, I got her one of those toy Jeeps that kids ride around the block in and a full street hockey setup. And those are the first gifts I didn't clear. She loved that so much, but Dave and Lydia got upset. But I was like, if we're restructuring the custody, I shouldn't need their approval to buy things anymore. Lydia pointed out how expensive it was and called me an idiot for using money to win Farah's love instead of putting in hard work as she has. What she said has been troubling me, and maybe I have been like that. So I'm here to ask, am I the idiot? I don't think idiot is the right word, but I see Dave and his wife's point of view entirely. You didn't raise her, and now you're stepping in after 10 years and playing the superhero with the wealth they never got to accumulate because they were taking care of a baby. It must suck for them. Although it seems like you're doing everything right by paying back child support, clearing gifts with them, etc., A classy move would be next time to have the big expensive birthday Christmas gift be from all three parents, and each of you gets her something small and affordable from you. I will also say that this little girl is going to be a teenager very soon and is going to start to establish a sense of who she is and where she came from. And with that, she's going to start questioning who you are and where you were for 10 years. So I would advise getting into family therapy with your ex and his wife, you and your daughter, to help her work through the next few years as she grapples with the perfectly normal abandonment or resentment issues that may come up. My 25 female, parents divorced when I was 10. My dad got remarried to Julie when I was 14. Julie has always accepted that she's my step-parent and has never tried to force a relationship with me. As a result, we have a great relationship. She listens to me, gives great advice when I need it, and I can confide in her. She helped review my college entrance essays, has given me tips on interviewing, etc. She and my dad complement each other so well, and she's just an all-around wonderful person and friend to me. My mother got remarried to Jerry when I was 15. Jerry is the polar opposite. He's overbearing, egotistical, and obnoxious. He's always ready to give unsolicited advice. It doesn't matter if you don't need it, or even if you're not facing a problem. Any topic of discussion starts with him saying, "What you need to do is." However, my mother adores him and thinks he's hung the moon. Jerry fancies himself as a second father to me, although I've made it clear that I already have a father and don't need another. Now the issue. I'm engaged to Ryan, 27 male, and we're planning our wedding. When I put together my bridal party, I thought of Julie being one of my bridesmaids since we're great friends, so I asked her and she accepted. However, when my mother and Jerry found out, they were upset that I didn't have a role for Jerry. He wants to give me away, or give me away with my dad, and I shot that down. Then they talked about Jerry having a dance with me. Again, no, that's reserved for my dad only. And Ryan doesn't want Jerry and his group of groomsmen. Jerry thinks it's unfair that Julie gets a role, and he doesn't. Honestly, I wouldn't care about Jerry's hurt feelings, except my mother's now getting upset. She called me and said I was hurting her by not having a role for Jerry. And I explained that Jerry's part is to be your companion and support during the wedding. That Julie and I simply have a relationship that Jerry and I don't have. She ended the call by saying ominously, "I don't want to make a difficult decision, but you're forcing my hand." So now I'm afraid she won't come to the wedding unless Jerry attends. Julie heard about all this and has graciously offered to leave the wedding party to keep the peace, but I don't want her to. Ryan and my dad have told me they'll stand by me no matter what, but I just feel like someone will get hurt no matter what. Not the idiot. You're not honoring Julie as a parental figure. You're including her as your friend. If Jerry's genuinely hurt about the fact that he doesn't have that role in your or Ryan's life and not just on an ego trip, he needs to realize that making such a big deal out of it, that your mother feels like she needs to make some kind of dramatic stand in solidarity with him, is not going to improve the situation. I think it's 100% an ego trip. He's mad that he can't be included in an event not about him, and the mother seems to think he can do no wrong, which is a couple dynamic that I've always hated. I always expect my wife to tell me if I'm in the wrong, because the alternative would be me making an idiot of her and myself, which is what this is going to do to them. OP, tell Jerry that if he looks as good as Julie in a bridesmaid's dress, then he can be in the wedding party. Honestly, Jerry can attend as a guest. His role should be to give unsolicited advice to the poor guests who happen to be next to him. If he and your mother decide to be so petty that they'd instead not come because he's not getting a spotlight moment, well, that's on them. Enjoy your wedding and don't let your mom or anyone else guilt trip you.